Imagine living with a haunting secret for over 3 decades, a secret that torments your dreams and shadows your waking life. This was the reality for murderer, who, after years of nightmares, finally confessed to a crime that shattered a family and a community. Today, we delve into the tragic story of Carrie Ann Jopek, a young girl whose disappearance sparked a decades-long search for truth and justice. It was a crisp March day in 1982, and 13-year-old Carrie Ann Jopek was like any other teenager, filled with hopes and dreams. She had just been suspended from school for a minor infraction, walking the halls without permission, and decided to attend a party at a neighbor's house, a choice that would change everything. Carrie was a vibrant and outgoing girl, known for her infectious smile and kind heart. She had a close-knit group of friends and was well-liked by her peers. Her family, particularly her mother, Carolyn Toussaint, doted on her and cherished every moment they spent together. On the day of her disappearance, Carrie was last seen laughing and enjoying herself among friends, her spirit vibrant and full of life. But as the sun dipped below the horizon, she failed to return home. Her family, frantic with worry, reported her missing, igniting a search that would soon turn into a desperate quest for answers. Carolyn, devastated by her daughter's disappearance, immediately sprang into action. She called the police, organized search parties, and reached out to the community for help. The thought of losing Carrie was unbearable, and Carolyn was determined to bring her home safe. The community rallied together, united in their concern for the missing girl. Search parties combed through parks, backyards, and wooded areas, while local volunteers plastered flyers across town. The air was thick with hope, but as days turned into weeks, that hope began to wane. Every day that passed without news felt like a crushing blow to Carrie's family. They held vigils, praying for her safe return, while the police followed every lead, no matter how small. The media covered the story extensively, with local news stations broadcasting appeals for information and updates on the search. As the search intensified, the community's concern grew. Neighbors banded together offering support and comfort to Carrie's family. They organized fundraisers to help with search efforts and provided meals to sustain the volunteers. The local church held prayer services, with parishioners lighting candles and offering their support. Despite their efforts, the search yielded no signs of the vibrant girl who had vanished without a trace. As weeks turned into months, the community's initial hope began to fade into despair. The police conducted interviews with friends and family, trying to piece together Carrie's last known movements. They explored every possible lead, from sightings of her in nearby towns to tips from concerned citizens. However, as time went on, the case grew colder. The community, once united in their search, began to feel the weight of uncertainty and fear. The loss of Carrie left a palpable void, and the question of what had happened to her haunted everyone. 17 months later, in September 1983, a contractor working on renovations at the neighbor's house made a grim discovery. While lifting floorboards, he stumbled upon something horrifying: Carrie's remains hidden beneath the porch. The news shattered her family. Carolyn, already struggling with the pain of her daughter's disappearance, was devastated by the discovery. She identified her daughter's jacket among the remains, confirming their worst fears. The community was left reeling, grappling with the loss of a bright young girl, whose life was cut tragically short. The discovery of Carrie's body reignited the investigation. As investigators delved deeper into the case, they focused on a young man named Jose E. Ferreira Jr., who had been at the party that night. Ferreira, just 16 at the time, became a person of interest. However, without solid evidence linking him to the crime, the case went cold once again. For years, Carrie's family was left in limbo, haunted by unanswered questions and a profound sense of loss. Ferreira had a troubled background. He had been in trouble with the law before and had a reputation for being involved in questionable activities. However, despite the suspicions surrounding him, law enforcement could not build a solid case against him. For years, the family endured the pain of not knowing what had happened to Carrie, and the community continued to feel the impact of her tragic loss. As the years passed, Carrie's family never gave up hope. They held annual vigils, lighting candles and sharing memories of their beloved daughter. Carolyn, in particular, remained determined to find out what happened to Carrie. She reached out to the media, pleading for anyone with information to come forward. She also advocated for changes in the justice system, pushing for better resources and support for families of missing children. Fast forward to October 2015. After years of psychological torment, Ferreira finally broke his silence. He confessed to the crime, recounting the events of that fateful night in agonizing detail. Ferreira stated that he could no longer live with the guilt, which ultimately drove him to come forward after more than 3 decades of silence. In his confession, Ferreira described how he and Carrie had been at the party, where he saw her take a puff of marijuana that he had given her. After that, he asked her if she wanted to go down to the basement, where he expected they would make out. However, just before they descended the stairs, Carrie expressed her reservations, saying, "I don't know if this is a good idea." Ferreira then stated that he looked at her sternly and said, "You are going downstairs." He admitted that he then shoved Carrie down the basement stairs, where she hit the railing and wall before tumbling to the floor. When Ferreira found her at the bottom of the stairs, he initially thought she was unconscious. In a moment of horrifying realization, he proceeded to sexually assault her, viewing it as an opportunity. However, he quickly discovered that Carrie was not merely unconscious. She was dead. In a panic, Ferreira decided to bury her body under the porch, using a shovel to dig a shallow grave. In January 2017, Ferreira accepted a plea deal. Instead of facing a murder trial, he pleaded guilty to attempted second-degree sexual assault and false imprisonment. The decision to accept the plea was influenced by the challenges of prosecuting a case that was over 3 decades old. He was sentenced to 7 years in prison, a decision that left many questioning if justice had truly been served. The family and community felt a mix of relief and frustration. While they finally had answers, the punishment seemed inadequate for the crime. Carrie's family expressed mixed emotions. While they felt some closure with Ferreira's confession, the pain of losing Carrie remained fresh. Her mother, Carolyn, reflected on the years of heartache and the unanswered questions that lingered. In interviews, Carolyn shared her grief, stating, "No mother should have to bury her child." She also expressed her belief that Carrie had been haunting Ferreira, stating, "That girl was very persistent." This sentiment echoed the feelings of many in the community who felt that the justice system had failed to provide adequate accountability for such a heinous act. The impact of Carrie's case extended beyond her family. It highlighted significant issues regarding youth safety and the long-lasting effects of unresolved cases on families and neighborhoods. The community was left grappling with the tragedy, and many residents expressed a desire for more stringent measures to protect children and ensure that such incidents would not happen again. Local schools implemented new safety protocols, and community organizations launched awareness campaigns to educate parents and children about the dangers of attending unsupervised parties. Despite the confession, many questions remain. What truly happened that night? Did Ferreira act alone, or were others involved? The medical examiner could not definitively determine the cause of death, leaving a cloud of uncertainty over the case. Some reports suggested that injuries to Carrie's neck might have been caused by a heavy object rather than a fall, raising further doubts about Ferreira's account of events. The lack of clarity surrounding her death left her family and the community searching for answers. The unresolved nature of the case served as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of seeking justice. As the years passed, the memory of Carrie Ann Jopek remained alive in the hearts of those who knew her and those who had followed her story. Her family and friends continued to honor her memory, sharing stories of her kindness, humor, and infectious spirit. They established a scholarship in her name, providing financial assistance to students who embodied Carrie's values of compassion and community service. Carrie Ann Jopek's story is one of tragedy, but also resilience. Her case serves as a reminder of the importance of community, the need for justice, and the lasting impact of loss. As we remember Carrie, we must also honor her legacy by advocating for safety and justice for all victims. Her story, though marked by sorrow, continues to resonate, reminding us to cherish our loved ones and stand together in the face of tragedy. In the end, the case of Carrie Ann Jopek serves as a poignant reminder that every missing child is not just a statistic, but a beloved individual with dreams, aspirations, and a family waiting for answers. The fight for justice continues, not just for Carrie, but for all victims of violence and their families. If you found this story compelling, please like, share, and subscribe for more true crime stories.